DeMaio.
Great. RJ, thanks so much. I've known RJ for almost a decade now, and glad that he puts these sessions together so that people can stay informed about issues that are going to impact their profession, their clients, their industry. And in California, we have a real big problem, and it's an unsustainable cost of living in our state. And it's driven by a dysfunction in our political system. I can blame the Democrats because they're raising taxes and adding mandates and fees that cause the cost of living to go through the roof. But I also have to blame the Republicans because, I mean, can anyone think of something big or bold or positive that California Republicans have actually proposed and got done in the last 10 years, 20 years, 40 years? Most people I ask of that is, what have they done? What was the last big thing that Republicans in California, not nationally, California got done? They'll tell you Prop 13, the initiative that gives us some protections on our property tax assessments and a more sustainable property tax system, increases of 2% a year, and then, of course, the right to vote on tax increases before they go forward. Prop 13 was 1978. That was 41 years ago. It was so far back in time, Cher still had her original nose. That's how far back in time it was. So if your last big positive hit was 41 years ago, maybe your political party has part of the blame about what's going on in California. So I think both sides in the political system are responsible for where we are today. And that is, despite a relatively healthy economy nationally, California is doing its level best to drag down our economic prosperity. We should be doing far better than we're doing right now. The cost of living is driven by mainly first round taxes, highest income taxes, highest gas tax. We have a cap and trade tax on all carbon-based products. We got the highest sales tax on the state level in the country. Then you add on to that local sales tax. They're always going after bonds with parcel taxes. Now they've got a cell phone tax proposal, a text tax. If you go above a certain number of text messages, you'll be taxed. They've got a single-payer health care tax that they want to impose because they want to basically take over government takeover of health care in California and ban private insurance. There's the drinking water tax. You already pay too much money for your water bill, and now they want to have a drinking water tax on top of that. And then they got this absurdity of time of use charges on utilities, which is basically the state of California saying, government gets to tell you that you're using too much energy, and so we're giving you an energy speeding ticket. All of this is causing a crushing blow to working families. And then because we're not building enough housing inventory, we're not allowing enough supply of housing to meet the demands of a growing state, our rents and our property costs are going through the roof. And so now we got, most communities are way above the recommended 33% of your income for housing costs. In San Francisco, the recent study came out saying that you're not able to afford a home unless you earn $380,000 a year. And in San Diego, the number is about $160,000 a year. And it's only going to get worse. So all of these relate to government dysfunction. It's not something that you and I are doing wrong. People here are working harder than they ever have worked before. Some of them are working multiple jobs. It's just the added cost of living because of the dysfunction of government not doing certain things and the added taxes, mandates, and fees. So I, in addition to my radio show, I chair a group called Reform California. And Reform California is a multi-partisan. We will work with any party, any Democrat, Republican, Independent. We don't care about the party label, and sometimes we have to challenge the Republican Party when they don't do something the right way. But our job is to take on the cost of living crisis by saying, hey, government, you have enough money. No more taxes, no more mandates, no more fees. You have enough money. What we want to do is shine a light on what you're currently not doing effectively with the money we already give you. So a big debate's happening right now. Downtown, SANDAG, the San Diego Caltrans agency, they are now admitting that they lied to us in 2008 and 2004 about the sales tax that they got us to approve, and they do not have enough money to do the projects that they promised. And now they're saying, well, because we can't do all the projects you want, we've decided no more roads. We're going to put all the money into transit and climate change and bike lanes. So they are trying to take the projects that we voted on in exchange for a tax increase and reprogram the money with a supermajority vote. Oh, and by the way, they want another tax increase for transit. It's a sales tax increase that they're going to be putting on the ballot. And so we're fighting that one because what we're saying is, no. First, fix the roads. That's where the money should go. And second, you don't need additional money to do that. And we've got their budget. We've got the examples of waste, fraud, and abuse. And the fact that, frankly, this is an issue of priority. When you have 98% of San Diegans driving cars, when your consumer base is 98% using that mode of transportation, that's where your money should go. I'm not against transit, I'm not against bike lanes, but when you neglect where 98% of your customer base is, I mean, that's malfeasance. I mean, that's breaking your fiduciary responsibility. They don't want you in your car. Well, that's fine. That's their opinion. They can tell you about the wonders of transit and whatnot, but if you choose to drive a car and you're paying gas taxes and you're paying sales taxes based upon a promise that that money will go into road projects, that money best go into road projects. But we're not seeing that. We're seeing this, basically this lie that's been perpetuated. And dime to dollar, when they come forward with those tax increases, what do they feature in the ads? They don't feature the government bus driver saying, oh, did you know I'm earning $130,000 a year to drive the bus? No, they feature a motorist hitting a pothole. And they know not a dime of that money is going into the roads. So it's so frustrating. What we're doing right now is, again, looking at our existing money that we give government, asking them to be more accountable with what we give them. And we're rejecting the tax increases because we have not yet seen an environment or an agency that truly needs a tax increase, particularly because as the economy grows, government's getting, just with the existing rate structure, more and more money because the base is going up. Anyone who does investment management, you're like, okay, my fees are whatever percent. Okay, great. And if your client's portfolio doubles, are you happy? Are you going to go, well, you know, it's a bigger portfolio, so I should be paid more? No, you're getting the percentage, all right? You're taking a percentage of the portfolio. Government also, when we're talking sales tax, property tax, income tax, as everyone does better, government's still getting more and more money. So don't give me this crap that you don't have enough money, because as the population grows, as the economy grows, so will government be able to get more revenue to expand its portfolio of programs. One final point on all of that. There are also some absurd tax increases that are being proposed at the federal level. They want to increase the income taxes. I think we need to all unite, whether you're Democrat or Republican, and get rid of the SALT cap, the state and local tax limitation that the Trump tax bill put in. And this is what I tell my Republican friends. Why don't you introduce a bill eliminating the cap on state and local taxes? $10,000 is where it's capped right now. Let's go back to the unlimited write-off of your state and local tax burden before you do your federal taxes. Because what are the Democrats going to do? Vote against that? They're the ones saying, oh, it's terrible that you cap SALT. Fine. Here's the bill. Let's vote on it. Let's get rid of the cap. We in California are not seeing as much of the benefit of the Republican tax bill because big portion of our write-offs tend to be the high taxes that we're paying in the state of California. Also, people like Elizabeth Warren are proposing a wealth tax. Now, you thought income taxes were bad. Wait till they say, all right, you know, we already got a take of your money on the income tax, but now we're going to take what you've saved. We're going to take 2% of everything you own, all assets, stocks, annuities, bonds, properties. We're going to take 2% every year, by the way, 2%. It's like ice melting in the desert. And so that's her proposal of a wealth tax. I mean, remember, it was, what, 1913, 1914, that we had this big battle in the United States about should we have a federal income tax. Now they're saying, no, not income tax. We're now going to that next level is we're going to do a rake every year of everything that you've been able to save. This is just madness, absolute madness. And yet these taxes tend to be approved because of mislabeling on the ballot, but also because people are being told, no, you'll never have to pay that. It's the guy around the tree who's a millionaire or a rich person. At the end of the day, though, that's all going to trickle down to every rung of the economy. Because when those folks are being charged higher taxes, there's going to be less investment, less capital, and less jobs as a result.
So the 1% are paying 52% of the tax rates already.
Yep. When we have a correction in California, our state budget is so dependent on cap gains and income taxes. About 52%, 55% of our budget is highly sensitized to that. We are going to have a massive fiscal crisis at that point. Plus, getting back to pension issues, when the market does have a correction, not only do you have less money coming in for state and local government, but your annual required contribution on pensions goes sky high because you didn't hit your 7.75% annual guaranteed return on retirement funds that then take the form of a defined benefit. And that's where we have to bail out the government pension system. So you basically have a fiscal crisis like this. Your revenue dips and your obligation for pensions goes up. The city of San Diego's pension bill right now is $360 million. A flat performance with a small contraction of just 1% in the economy causes a $360 billion number to go to $500 billion in 1 year. That's an entire library system. That's an entire, actually it's 3 library systems for the city of San Diego. That's an entire park and rec department. That's half of our fire department. Boom, in an increased payment. So this is a significant fiscal bubble that we're seeing right now that we're likely to see pop in the next several cycles. So with that, any comments, questions, suggestions, please? Yes, ma'am.
I'm not very familiar with these things, but I have a simple question. If California is making money out of all the taxes, like you said, just California, where is the money going, basically?
Where is the state's budget allocations going? It's going first and foremost to salaries of government employees. We have more government employees than we've ever had before, but the services continue to get cut. They're getting salaries that are far in excess of the local labor market, and the pensions are outrageous. In 2012, the number of government pensioners in the state of California earning more than $100,000 a year in a guaranteed pension, basically you're being paid $100,000 not to work. And it starts at age 50. That's the retirement age for state and local government employees. $100,000 a year was 12,000 people. And I thought in 2012, this is outrageous. 12,000 people who are not working, state and local government in California, getting $100,000 or more plus free health care. You know what the number is today? 31,000. 31,000 in just 6 additional years' time, because we haven't gotten the 2019 numbers yet. And so we've got the labor costs of state government that are just ballooning out of control. We also have a pretty generous public welfare program in California, whether it's the housing, whether it's the health care, whether it's just public assistance. In 2004, in the United States, we had 10 million people on food stamps, and I thought that was a lot, 10 million people on food stamps. And food stamps are important. We need to give people help and nourishment when they're down on their luck. The number today is 44 million. And yet, look at the economy. Should we be at 3.7% unemployment and have a 44 million tally for the number of people on food stamps? And so some of these issues, I complain about this all the time. I'm okay giving people a hand out to give them a hand up. But there should be work requirements, which we've largely done away with in the state of California. And all these people are talking about banning plastic straws and banning this and the environment. Fine. If you are on public assistance, you will do shifts throughout the week of cleaning up our beaches, our bays, our canyons, etc. Because of 2 reasons. 1, it's great for the environment. And 2, I want these people to know that they've got to get up, they've got to do a work shift. I want them to have the pride of saying, I went in and did work today. I'm not just a drag on the economy. A lot of the, let's be candid about it. If you're unemployed today, there's something wrong with you. There really is something wrong with you. Mental health, substance abuse, some sort of ailment, or just simply lack of wanting to try. That's not acceptable in today's society. What we will do is we will help people who are willing to meet us halfway and have the pride of owning or having a job and eventually being able to own a home and retire and whatnot. That's the fundamental problem in California, is that we continue to give out so many benefits to people, and there's no requirement that, all right, this is an assistance program. We want to help you get you back on your feet, but it's not a permanent thing, and there is going to be some level of accountability. Yes?
What about, do you know statistics of, I know a lot of people are moving out of California for the reasons.
Net migration is what they call it.
Right, but then there's people coming in. So what is, what kind of trends, the people that are coming in making up for those?
Last year was about 250,000 people net migration out of California. So think about all the illegal immigration. Think about some people who are moving to California. Lord has to wonder why. And then all the people leaving. Net migration of 250,000. And that's been a consistent net migration over the period of time. Politically, this has had an impact in that Nevada, Arizona, Texas are the top destination points for Californians fleeing our state. And they're turning their states. They're not Republicans that are driving. There are some Republicans leaving the state of California. Mainly it's younger millennials and working class families leaving the state of California. And they're turning those other states blue. So Nevada and Arizona and Texas, far more blue because of net migration patterns from California. Why are they leaving? Cost of living is the #1 reason why people are leaving. And 54% of Californians, according to the PPIC poll done in February, are thinking actively right now about leaving the state of California solely because of the cost of living. And when you go take a look at millennial respondents in that poll, it's 68%. Yeah. And so these kids are graduating with college debt, and they're saying, I can't afford to live in California. I can't get my own place to live. And mom and dad usually are saying, oh, how long are you going to be crashing on the sofa? How long are you going to be, and that's an increasing common trend in California of kids just not being able to afford their own apartment, let alone buy a home. One last question. Yeah.
How does that impact us, the net negative migration? Is it primarily the reduction of a tax base and income to the state? Is that the primary problem with the net migration?
People haven't really looked into the specifics of what type of folks are we losing. But what we see that we're losing are millennials and working class families. They're saying that we are retaining some of the higher wealth individuals because they can afford it, okay? But at some point when you do get those tax increases, so for example, California is talking about a wealth tax in addition to Elizabeth Warren talking about one. So if California enacts a wealth tax, those people are gone. I think we are going to have that perfect storm very soon where the folks that are the high wealth individuals are doing a lot of their income will be very negatively affected by a stock market or a economic downturn. Their cap gains will dry up. So you're losing those people, but if you've also lost your working class families over the years, those people in a recession still kind of are there. They hopefully are keeping their jobs and still paying into the system. You lose those people as well. It is the double whammy on our revenue. So right now we have the high earners that are able to stay in California, but you're losing this swath of younger and middle class Californians. It's the perfect storm. And it's at some point the music stops and California will be the state without the chair. Other states are going to be in trouble, but not as bad as California. We're going to